when you, as a quote-unquote journalist, agree to create this spectacle,
Subscribe to my Substack.
subscribe to my Substack.
There's
I'm
this
going
dead
to
kid.
I'm going to interview a dead kid.
Yeah.
If you want to know what the end of American civilization looks like, it's Jim Acosta.
As a cable channel, Fox now has higher ratings than ABC, CBS.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
Meanwhile, you got liberal media absolutely collapsing.
That's the thing.
Hardworking Americans know when it's time to roll up our sleeves and get the job done. Now is the time to unleash our nation's energy to create jobs, secure our future, and make life better, more affordable, and full of opportunity for all Americans. That's the power of America's oil and natural gas. Learn more at lightsonenergy.org. Paid for by the American Petroleum Institute.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs.
It's time for our main event.
Good Thursday to you. Welcome back to the Ruthless Variety Program. You're going to get the uncut, free-based fellas here on a Good Thursday to you. I am Josh Holmes, along with Comfortably Smug, Michael Duncan, and John Ashbrook left to right across your radio dial. As always, fellas, we've got a hell of a show. A lot of things to stack up here and analyze. Some things in the political world, some things in the media world. It feels like we're winning.
I mean, it absolutely feels like we're winning.
It feels like we're winning.
And not just we're winning. From our lineup of topics today, it's very clear the other side is losing.
It's not good
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, winning is fantastic. I do like winning very much. But what I like more than winning is the crying of the opposition.
Humiliation is really what he's kind of a humiliation fetish in some ways for the old man.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
It's
I
like
hate
the-
to
it-
broadcast that.
It was what is good in life, Conan?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you, have the enemy crushed, driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. That's the
Yeah.
kind of guy Duncan is.
Exactly right.
That's what he's got. What do you think, Smash? I mean, we're getting into, obviously, we've got a show tomorrow, but it's been a week where, typically speaking, the August recess, as they say in Washington, D.C., gets a little less news. You get a little bit more. It's a good time for content because you get a little more salacious stuff. You get to weigh in on all kinds of controversies, more gossipy in many
Yeah.
ways. But it starts off pretty hot for us.
It certainly does, and it is a perfect time for the life-giving, life-enhancing brotherhood you get right here on the Ruthless Variety Program, the hottest, most influential podcast in Washington, D.C.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
I
and
like that.
I just gotta say, there's two groups of people who get recess: Congress and children. But I repeat myself. Right?
I will say all of you have done a very nice job on the Fox News Channel over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of clips.
It's been
I mean,
great
these are
fun.
just very special performances out there.
It's
People
been-
are loving it.
it's
And
been-
you too, man. Like the stuff about how, thank God, it looks like Hillary and the Clintons are going to start being held accountable. And you're like, well, let's see if Democrats want to keep this up.
And
stuff.
Duncan came off the top rope on Andrew Cuomo, calling him Andrew Slow-Mo, just like Lucha Libre and the Mexican luchadors.
Well, you watch some of these clips and everybody's shocked that Mamdani's got all of the support and energy. And then you see a clip of Cuomo and he looks like a cadaver.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, they got to step it up. They got to figure that out if they're going to stop this guy.
Yeah, totally.
They don't want to stop him.
They don't.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
Democrats are actually communists.
Yep.
And
They want
hats
it to
off to
happen.
Fox for allowing us under the tent to do some of this stuff because we come at this in a very different way.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just like they said this, and here's a conservative take. It's like we had a little flavor to it. Not for everybody.
It's a little panache.
Yeah, there's a little panache
I love
in
this
there.
so much because when we first signed the deal with Fox, we got the comments from folks being like,
Don't
"Hope this
change."
doesn't mean you're gonna change." All of a sudden, now the crazies on Fox too. Like we're everywhere.
Yeah, they allowed us to do it on air. Well, we'll see how long it lasts, fellas. We'll see how long it lasts. But listen, while Fox is like doubling and tripling the broadcast ratings, like things that we never thought possible. CNN is like sinking below the earth. MSNBC is doing like what you expect them to do in nothing. Fox is rising beyond. They're adding all kinds of like creator economy type
Their
stuff.
ratings are higher than like ABC, NBC, CBS, like broadcast television.
Yeah.
As a cable channel, Fox now has higher ratings than ABC, CBS.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
Meanwhile, you got liberal media absolutely collapsing.
That's the thing. Is like each and every week for the last 3 weeks leading into an August recess where we can talk about all of these things in great detail, you have another example of this legacy media, like old school, previously sacrosanct area that has just fallen by the wayside. The Colbert thing. Well, I mean, this week it's Howard Stern. Howard Stern. So if you're like me, and I don't know what your guys' relationship with this, I was a big like local radio guy. We had a great local radio host that was very funny. WQRS, I think. Anyway, it was very funny. But I did tune into Howard because he like basically changed a medium. He was very funny, very engaging. He was like revolutionized an era of talk radio in a lot of ways. And then in recent years,
Yeah.
holy smokes, he just became terrible. Can we play clip one just to give you a sense of where he's at?
This whole idea, if you like me, you're good, and if you don't, you're bad. I mean, I've been the victim of this. I don't hate the guy. I hate the people who vote for him. I think you're stupid. I do. I'll be honest with you. I have no respect for you.
Okay, all right.
Cool.
So, this is a
Amazing.
national media figure who made a living out of revolutionizing what once was an establishment-run organization where you couldn't even say the word hate, right? But he was like doing really racy stuff in the 90s, pushed people to the edge of the envelope. Donald Trump was like his best friend in that era. And now his politics have gotten to a point where he doesn't just not hate like Donald Trump. Yes, he's not going to vote for Donald Trump, but he hates you for voting for Donald
Isn't
Trump.
that's just insane as a person to be like, you know what? Based on who you vote for, I have decided you're an irredeemable human, and you only get that from less than half this country. Clearly, less than half this country.
And what an incredible business model from somebody who's in the entertainment business.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Hey, I want my audience to be half.
yeah. First, let me separate it. Yeah, first let me separate 50% of you out.
Yeah.
and then I'll compete for whatever is left. I mean, but that's basically what he did. So, not surprisingly, as Colbert did over the last few years, so did what was thought to be impossible. Howard Stern, the king of all media at one point.
Yeah.
Sirius XM canceled them.
But
It's over.
It is very disappointing in a lot of ways. And, he was so countercultural for so long. Even you mentioned that he pressed the envelope with his corporate overlords, even down to like not pronouncing WNBC correctly simply because he was so furious. He was countercultural. And now Donald Trump is countercultural. And now all of a sudden Howard Stern is the corporate stooge who is like against the countercultural movement. And like he really sort of like went against his brand in a way that I never expected from the guy.
I mean, we were saying this before we started recording, but it's like the day Trump got elected, Howard Stern just turned into like Hillary Clinton.
He
just like
became
a
an old lady.
shrill, whiny lib woman.
He became an old lady. That's exactly right. This guy went from the most edgy dude you've ever met in your entire life. He became an old lady.
It's insane.
He was like scolding.
And I think part of it is the money. It's because like you heard that
Yeah.
I guess his studio and everything got moved out either in the Hamptons or Montauk, where he got this like massive palace. I mean, it says here in this article right here,
120 million since 2020.
yeah,
He has
and as much as
2.1 billion since he signed the contract in 2004. And I will give him great credit. When Sirius made the deal with him, he was at the top of his game. It was a couple years, several years removed from Private Parts, which is kind of the apex. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it was kind of the apex of his career. But him moving off of terrestrial radio onto satellite radio
step.
was a massive thing, and they needed a massive thing in satellite radio in order to transform an audience. He did that for
because
them.
he had that rabid of a fan base of
Yeah.
people who were like, looks like I'm signing up for satellite radio now. And in 2004, that was a huge jump because it's not like it is now where like every car now comes equipped with satellite radio built into it. You know, like back then I was like, okay, you're gonna have to like buy the thing to plug into your car. You're gonna have to
Yeah, it was complicated.
and he had the fan base willing to do it, and to make $2 billion.
But $2 billion, I mean, the problem is like, you're right. The money does change you. Everything else does change you. I'm sure that there is a complicated effect on his life for all marriages and everything else.
And also, like, the people he hangs around with, like, you know, he became this like big media figure. You know, he's going to these like Hollywood parties, and they're all just like brain rotted people too.
Yep. But in the end, he thought it was about him.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about it on the show, and the thing that was ingrained upon us, the thing that we loved about our relationship with Fox, was that it's about the audience.
Yep. Always.
And like that's the thing that you get when you're listening to us, that I mean, I don't care if we do this tomorrow, but I really do like the relationship with the audience. I like the give and take. I like having to have this conversation, the things that you're thinking about, and you can give us feedback on. We can provide some perspective based on like 20 years of doing things in politics or culture or whatever, where we can have this give and take. And at some point, he just thought it was about him.
Yeah. Dude, that's right.
And that's the end of it. It was the same with Colbert.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just got to tell you.
I mean, the comparison between the two of them is so apt, because at one time they were countercultural. It was like Colbert's like, oh, well, he's like skewering conservatives during the Bush era. And Howard Stern, I mean, you don't even explain how countercultural that guy was. He was on the cutting edge of offending people for so long. And it's like, then they started thinking they get the money. It says like, you know, the $100 million budget Colbert had. He's losing $40 billion a year. Hanging out with it's all just like Hollywood people now, and it's like, oh well, the cool thing to do is to be like, I'm resisting Trump. I'm going to make the show about that and not the content and the audience who got me here.
Well, and then that audience went to places like here.
Bingo.
Like the Ruthless Friday program.
Joe Rogan has a lot of interesting interviews with people that are off the wall that Howard Stern made his whole career on.
I'd love to see that in the comments. Like, how many people who listen to us used to listen to Howard Stern?
Yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. When we come back, he's not alone, by the way. There is a long list of former media celebrities that have gone 6 feet under here in the last 6 months.
One of my favorite topics to discuss.
Some of them are distinguishing themselves in ways that like are almost unspeakable. The fellas are going to have some hot takes right after this.
America is back. Thanks to President Trump and leader John Thune's working family tax cuts, we stopped the biggest tax hike in history. But that's only the beginning. The big, beautiful bill also cuts taxes on tips and overtime, secures the border, finishes the wall, and protects Medicaid for Americans, not illegals. Leader Thune and Senate Republicans got President Trump's conservative agenda done, providing real relief for every hardworking American that's up early and home late. We're bringing manufacturing jobs back home and making America great again. Tell Leader John Thune and Senate Republicans thank you for delivering President Trump's agenda. Learn more at onenationamerica.org.
All right, so we were talking about the previous media figures that were sort of the established brands that everybody listened to. We mentioned Howard Stern. One of those who is a White House correspondent, the front row, the man who asked all the tough questions for CNN, the leader in news, Jim Acosta. Now, I think that President Trump thoroughly humiliated this man in the first 4 years of his presidency. I mean, I can't think of a single interaction that Jim Acosta got not the better of, but didn't get completely humiliated. You know what I mean?
It was like he just kept posterized on a daily basis.
Yeah. No, really. It was like the point guard who's getting like two-hand dunked by Shaq every single day, but he just kept coming back, and then he would go on and do his like primetime thing with CNN where he'd dunk him in all the
just
bullshit.
recount his trauma.
Yeah, and and then like CNN had the audacity in that era to try to claim that like it's truth to power.
We are real news, Mr. President. We are real news.
We're real. Yeah, that's right. He even said it. We are real news, Mr. President. And it's like, in order to be real news, you actually need to go like seeking news.
Right.
It's not opinion. You just need to like find fact, like who, what, when, where, and why. None of which Acosta had ever done at any point in his career. He was trying to be a media celebrity. He was trying to use Trump to do that. In some ways, I think he did. Probably sold books and whatnot. It didn't work out over the long run, right? CNN saw him as somewhat of a liability. Even CNN saw him as somewhat of a liability. They still have the potato. So, I mean, that bar, pretty high. Anyway, they get rid of him at some point, and he's like, oh, I'm going to Substack. Right? Subscribe to my Substack if you want to fight the man. But then he just becomes like basically an activist, which tells on themselves. And this is, we see this time and time again from journos who are trying to pretend as though that they are just seeking answers to who, what, when, and where, and why.
Fiction.
And at Ashbrook, they at some point just become the activist left when they've lost their corporate job because they're ineffective at it.
And they were the activists left the entire time they were working their corporate job. I mean, let's be honest, these news organizations have gone so far off the left because they are completely stacked with only Democrats. They won't hire Republicans. The only Republican they'll hire is the Republican who agrees with them and attacks Trump. It's not a real Republican. So you do not get any complexity. You don't get any texture. You don't get anything that reflects what normal people out there want to hear. Some of it is what Democrats want to hear, okay. But more than half of the country is what Republicans want to hear. You have to talk to both sides, not just one.
Yeah, well, they don't care about that. And so Jim Acosta did what I think is probably the most offensive thing that I've ever seen anyone, whether you claim to be a journalist or not.
It takes a lot to disturb. This actually disturbed me.
I know, dude. It got to a point we were talking about
I thought I had
this.
like no feelings left. That
Me
was a
too.
husk of a human, and I saw this and I was like, good God.
No, I couldn't even get myself to click on it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Wolf like forced it in
Yeah.
that I was like, I'm ready to talk about it.
Even when I tweeted about it, I was like, I don't even know what to say.
So Jim Acosta interviews an AI clone of a victim of the Parkland school shooting, Joaquin Oliver, who was killed several years ago in Parkland in this tragic situation. But somehow they have created an AI version of what he might look like today. And then he pretends as a journalist to interview someone who was a victim of a school shooting. I have a lot of takes on this, but I think you got to see what we've got for you. Do we have a clip? Are we going to play a
Joaquin,
clip?
I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin.
But is this for real?
It's for real.
First of all, the kayfabe. Like the whole idea that he's actually having this conversation when obviously it's all programmed one way or another.
I mean, it's sickening.
It is I can't believe the family, by the way, isn't just absolutely outraged by this.
They're the ones who got this built.
Yeah.
And made this.
So they want this?
Yes. So that's the other. So there's two things. First off, what that AI just said was like what's the name of that gun group that Gabby Giffords had? Everytown
USA.
It's just like it's literally a statement that group would put out is what he just said. They're making that child, the AI interpretation of that child, just read out a statement. And the family doing this. So we discussed this too. There was that one case of where that young man got murdered. He got stabbed in the chest by that other kid who went to another school, had no business there.
in Texas.
And then like the murdered kid's dad like apologizes and is like, oh, this is like some George Floyd shit of like, I want to apologize. I didn't this is a minority group who
He apologized for his kid getting stabbed.
What is wrong with these people? Do not use your child as some kind of like your dead child as some kind of a political tool to make people like you and think that you're progressive and woke. It's disgusting.
Well, I just here's the thing. Like this, this offends me at my core for so many reasons. And believe me, I'm not like, I don't come at this stuff as a dogmatic, like, oh, this is the way things work, and you shut the fuck up and everything else. like I have a lot of sympathy for this situation. I imagine there's a ton of emotion involved in losing a child so tragically. I can't even fathom what you would be dealing with if you had this. But this is a child who lost their lives under incredibly unfortunate circumstances. To take that and then extrapolate out a political agenda and create an AI, it's like, I guess that's the family's decision.
It's immoral.
I think it is.
I think it's immoral. I think it's unnatural. I guess the first feeling I have in watching that is that sort of like this macabre theater of the absurd. That like, I mean, how could you more dishonor the life of somebody to do this? I don't care if his family thinks he thought it was a good idea. Do you think he'd ever agree to be on Jim Acosta's fake Substack interview?
Yeah.
I mean, like that is such a dishonor to the memory of somebody.
Yep.
I think it's disgusting.
Well,
I think
it's
those parents are disgusting.
Yep.
I think Jim Acosta is going to hell, so he's
Yeah.
never going to see
So
that
that
kid
was
in
my-
heaven.
this was
I
my
think
point.
doing this is
Yes.
one of the most immoral things you could possibly do.
So this was
Yes,
my
Duncan.
this was my point. I'm trying not to judge a family that has been irreparably changed by this. And they obviously have political points of view that I disagree with. Okay. I'm trying not to do that. I think what you said, look, I agree with, but I'm trying not to. When you, as a quote-unquote journalist, agree to create this spectacle,
Subscribe to my Substack.
subscribe to my Substack.
Here's this dead kid.
I'm going to interview a dead kid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it because I know it spits out left-wing talking points that I agree with. And I'm going to try to broadcast that to the world. And I know it's going to be controversial, which is great for my Substack. That is the worst amongst us. This is the fucking dregs of... If you want to know what the end of American civilization looks like, it's Jim Acosta. That is disgusting.
You're exactly right. And these journos think they are morally superior to everybody else in this country. They view themselves as the high priests of American morality. They're the ones who pass out the indulgences. If you want to get to the morality right side, you have to go through them. And that attitude is why everybody is turning off the
I
left-wing
think
media.
the quote I would use is, "We will witness man-made horrors beyond our imagination," and that's what that is.
And
That's what that is.
On a much less serious note, the company responsible for that is irresponsible and stupid and clearly a fly-by-night operation of grifters because, like...
Yeah, it wasn't even good.
That sets back AI and tech so much of, like, right now people are wondering, like, oh, you know, I hear all these great things of how it can be harnessed to help me out. And now there's like, oh, also AI can do this, make the most horrific thing you could comprehend.
But dude, to your point, my initial beyond after I got like through with the anger, I started laughing because I was like, here we are as people who are sort of in the intersection of all of these worlds and trying to explain, like we did last week with the AI director at the White House, the power of AI, the understanding of how this, it's not an option, it's a mandate that you have to lead the world in all of this. But there's this like very boomer take about what AI is. And that's it.
That's the problem.
Right? It's like, oh, well, so they're going to create people, and then the people are going to talk, and they're going to say things, and then the people will take over our people. And like that's the most boomer amongst us, like anti-intellectual take of what AI is. And they're like, yes, air it live.
So I have another take on this. Like, you remember back when like South Park is now in the news a lot because they're coming back in, they're roasting Trump and all of this stuff. I don't think it's their best stuff. It's like it's too on the nose and too much politics. I feel like South Park was better when it was grounded and then got to the political thing in the end. And they did this great episode I remember years and years and years ago on Terry Schiavo. You remember Terry Schiavo?
Oh, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
National
I know what you're talking
controversy.
about.
Do you keep her alive? Do you let her die? She was on. She
was a brain dead
yeah.
individual in Florida.
And this became a huge political
who was on a feeding
flashpoint.
tube. And it was concluded by doctors that she would never recover any form of life other than being a vegetable, but they were keeping her alive. And it became a national controversy.
Right.
about whether doctors had the right to pull the tube.
Right. And so, like, in the South Park episode, you had these Republicans saying we need to keep her alive, and you had these Democrats and activists being like, no, let her pass, yada, yada, yada. The end of the episode ends with what I think is apropos in this segment, is like this scene of this lawyer reading her last will and testament, which is, if I am ever incapacitated, please, oh please, next page, don't ever put me on national television in that condition.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And it's like, I guess I tell that story to say, like, it's such an abuse of somebody's right and to the consent to something to do this to somebody after
Totally
they're dead.
right. Mm-hmm. Totally right. It's anti-intellectual. It's dumb fuckery at its finest. It's the lowest form of a person who once had some star power, who was just trying to hold on to some relevance on a fucking Substack, where they're like, oh no, please subscribe. Like, I guarantee you right now, as we're airing this cat Acosta is like, wow, what a great week.
I know, he's so sick. It's so
you know what I mean?
He's checking his subs.
He's like, what a great week. Do you guys see how much traction we got on that? People loved it. People were all about it. And it's like, no, you just did the worst thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they're tuning in, because you're the worst person on earth. Congratulations.
the worst person on
I know.
You are, Jim.
You're like, congratulations. Like, you just verified all of our preconceived notions about who you are.
But you know what? All right, final thing I'll say on this, because I can't let it go. Maybe he's right.
Maybe that's who we are.
Maybe that's who those people are who subscribe to his Substack, the people that, canceled their subscriptions to the Washington Post and the New York Times if they write a straight news article about Donald Trump. When Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, how many thousands of people canceled their subscriptions?
Yeah.
Because he put out a statement saying,
we want to cover the economy.
We're going to cover the news. We're going to cover the news.
Yeah.
And they're like, how fucking dare you? I don't give you money to tell me the truth. I want you to lie to me and talk about how bad the Orange Man is.
Say the walls are closing in.
So I think Jim Acosta might kind of get it. Is that the left side of the map? Those people are fucking crazy, and they're bad people, and they'll give you money to tell them bad things.
Dude, you might not be wrong, because the online left, it does seem to me, just by virtue of being in this ecosystem over the last couple of weeks, it's amazing how people for the better part of 20 years couldn't give a shit about Jeffrey Epstein as long as Bill Clinton was on their flight logs.
Right.
But as soon as they thought that they had something on Donald Trump, it's like they just inundate the comment section of every single thing that's ever been written, posted, streamed, or whatever.
Bro,
like,
their hero is
Epstein
Luigi.
logs, Epstein. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they really are the lowest scum of.
I mean, that's again, it's like Mamdani. These people have gone pure lizard brain.
Yeah. I want a guy who died 10 years ago to speak from the grave in something that you create his ideology. You create.
That's how macabre they are.
You
They're
create
sick
it.
people.
Like, they have no way of knowing.
Nope.
Oh, it's just disgusting. But here's the thing. There's others. There's others. So Terry Moran, remember last week at ABC, or not last week? It was probably a couple months ago. He was dismissed from his longtime.
Isn't it
duty.
French? I think it's Terry Moran.
Nice.
Moran. It's French.
Another serious newsman.
So listen, this guy was at ABC for a lot of years. I actually worked with him, like 20 years ago on a couple of different things, and I didn't think he was that bad of a guy. Like, I thought he
I trolled him a couple of times and got him mad online. It was fun.
Yeah, but he, like everybody else, became what the media became.
Yep.
They didn't start that way, but they always were left leaning. But it just became during the Trump era just unstoppable left wing activism. And he got fired because he was attacking.
I love when the story ends that way.
He got fired basically because he was like personally attacking Stephen Miller as a bad human, essentially.
These people are really weird.
Yeah. And it just like it got so far afield from what his job was. They were like, okay, we can't defend this any longer. It's one thing when you're making up questions for a debate.
Yeah.
It's quite another when you're like going personally after a staff member of the president. Anyway, he got fired. He resurfaced this week in the New York Post. Do we have any clips of this, or is I just going to read?
It's just text.
It's just text? Okay. All right. So this is according to the New York Post. A disgraced former ABC News reporter Terry Moran admitted that his previous employer and other major news networks are biased against President Trump, accusing them of deafness in the newsroom.
Well, he's not wrong there.
Well, it's very interesting, right? It's...
Pot accuses kettle of being black.
Well, you could be very cynical about it and be like, "Yeah, I got fired. I gotta go get right."
Well, that's me.
Yeah. Anyway, Moran.
It's a soft day.
Yeah, Moran revealed that there were hardly any pro-Trump journalists at ABC News in a recent post on where?
Substack.
Oh,
Unemployed
Substack. It's actually, dude, I will say to the American taxpayer, they're doing you a great benefit at Substack.
They really are.
Because what they're doing is actually backfilling what would ordinarily be in the unemployment line.
Yeah.
You know, like typically you collect unemployment once you get fired for a number of weeks, something the Democrats have championed for years when you can't do your job. And what they've done at Substack is just supplement that with an income.
They have created a cemetery for left-wing journo careers. Each account is a different headstone, and it has dates, and it has a little saying about what that person meant to society.
Ashbrook is 100% right. My one bone to pick on it, though, is like when they start the Substack for their thing, you can't dunk on it. I preferred when these journos lost their jobs, they would do a whole confessional on Twitter.
No, we need to get
in
land
a
of the
thread,
wolves.
And then you got to quote tweet it, and you know.
They need to go through it.
But that's why they like it.
Oh yeah, they like their safe space.
Yeah, because they're insulated and they can only pick on you know, it basically recreates the echo chamber that they had their newsroom.
Super quickly along those lines, when Jonathan Capehart got fired for being a loser.
Oh, dude, that guy got hazed too.
I quote retweeted him so hard of being like, "You lost your job, finally some good news." Man, I was harvesting so many tears. Like all these lives were like, "How dare you speak to Jonathan Capehart like that?"
Dude, you know what I love about Smug is he can go through the Rolodex of fired journalists like Rain Man counting toothpicks.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Like he knows the exact moment that all these people were fired.
So some of the comments that he made, though, are, I think, sort of instructive. And maybe it takes getting to the bottom of the barrel to open the kimono. I mean, we could be cynical about it, but what he's saying is what Smash in particular has said for years. I worked at ABC News for almost 28 years. Think about that, right? I mean, that's a long time.
Yes, it's a long
in any job. He did that on camera for many years.
You start with Peter Jennings and Sam Donaldson.
Oh man,
exactly. Think about that. So, and I'm proud to say that a lot of good people do a lot of really good work there, and they try hard to get the story right. There were many days over the years I'd watch a colleague at work on camera behind the scenes, and I'd think, that's how you do this, Moran wrote in a Substack post this week. But were we biased? Yes. Almost. That's the key word that he uses here. Almost inadvertently.
Bullshit. Yeah. Bullshit. Fuck you.
Yep.
I mean, like,
that's right.
This is like a guy being like, you know, I was in the SS, but I was just following orders. You know, what can I do? You know, like here's the thing. It requires zero courage to get fucking fired and then talk about how bad the place you worked at was. And not for nothing, but when I did that sports press conference, it was this woman from ABC News who was asking the Jeffrey Epstein question.
Oh, of course.
Except the question, not the question about the NCAA or NIL or any of the things pertinent to the actual, you know, conversation.
Well, they haven't changed a goddamn thing.
Anything.
They haven't changed anything since he got fired. They just fired him because he became too heavy.
Right.
And I won't argue with what you just said, Michael, but I think that the rest of his comment validates something that we have harped on here at the Ruthless Variety program for a very long time. He says ABC News has the same problem so many leading cultural institutions do in America, a lack of viewpoint diversity. The problem with every single one of these news outlets is that it is 97% Dem. If they had 50% Democrat, 50% Republican, the stories would reflect that. The stories would be more like what the rest of America thinks and wants to read on a daily basis.
But I guess that's kind of my point, is like this lack of viewpoint diversity that he points out is incongruent with his previous statement of how this is almost inadvertent.
Yep.
It's not inadvertent.
It's
to get a newsroom
no,
of
it's like
all
they're
Democrats
a victim. Like they're a victim.
is a purposeful thing you did.
They're the victim of
right?
the choices that they made,
Right.
but also even worse than that.
It's not inadvertent.
Even worse than that is it wasn't a problem until he got fired.
Right.
Bingo.
He wasn't going to say a fucking word.
Right.
He wasn't going to say anything.
Just
He had
following
no
orders.
He had no problem with that ABC. In fact, he defended it to the hilt. That ABC News debate that we broke down on this show, which,
Yeah.
by
Right.
the way, if you ever want to see excellence in journalism, go back and check that one out. It's one of our best. But like they defended all of that to the hilt. It wasn't until he got his pink slip
Yeah.
that he was like, we had a problem. Yeah, you had a problem. Yeah, you had a problem. And the problem became your problem. That was the first time you were willing to talk about it. And you have some responsibility in a public medium to say truth.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And then even behind the scenes, you know that these news organizations are full of senior people who have been there for years. And then anytime a junior person pipes up and says, you know what, Donald Trump is really catching fire in some of these states. You know, he's getting a lot of minority votes. They're like, bullshit. Why do you even believe those Republican talking points? Like the kid isn't even allowed to talk.
Yep.
There is no voice for the 77 million people who voted for Donald Trump and who ostensibly, without their consent, license these broadcast networks so they're able to use the public airwaves on a daily basis. Yeah, that's exactly how broadcast news works. They have licensing agreements with the public to be able to use the airwaves that belong to you to send you propaganda from the left. People have a reason to be furious, and these networks have a reason to be scared.
No, look, it's all very well said. This thing encapsulates itself, our media, in one of the best ironies of all ironies, which is the Washington Post. I mean, it's gotten so bad that like even Politico is dunking on this outfit.
That's tough.
You know, where they're like,
That's tough.
100 journos have left. None have gone to Politico, by the way. I mean, that tells you something about that situation too. But like,
Real race to the bottom.
yeah, right. But like, they're like, 100 journos have left the Washington Post. It's a mass exodus, and they're doing like they have like a journo count. It's like this hilarious insidery thing that if
Right.
you were in media in Washington, D.C., that you would watch and see happening. But the best was Politico printed. That even the obit writers are jumping ship at the Washington Post. Like the people, like the vocational death cannot be reported on the real deaths anymore because it just doesn't work.
So if you did write obits for the Washington Post and it was your last day, would you write an obit for your own career?
Oh.
And like sneak it into the newspaper? That would be a funny goof.
It would be a funny goof. But, you know, it's too much humor for them.
Oh.
You know, because if you see, and I don't, listen, none of you who are listening to this follow this stuff on X or whatever, because you probably don't follow these people. But there's been a hilarious cacophony of almost daily entries into X about, well, today's my last day.
Yeah.
So proud of all the work we've done. And
It's
then
my
they have,
favorite
like,
genre of post.
Yeah, they have,
Honestly,
like-
it's the best. It's if there's no other reason, sign up to X to see these because
Yeah.
it's the sweetest thing.
I hate Bezos, but I'm also taking his buyout.
But this is the best. It looks like it's time to submit a death notice for the Washington Post's obituary section.
Oh, man.
I'll give Politico credit for this.
It's good writing.
That's good writing.
It's good.
This is good stuff. The paper's longtime obit chief, Adam Bernstein, announced Tuesday that he was joining the New York Times. I love that there is a genre for this, right? Like it's like we talk about, which is so hilarious about DC, is that every like niche organization, like Big Christmas Tree, has representation. Like in the media, he's the premier obit guy.
Yeah.
Like what makes that? You're like, I don't know. You got your name. The guy died, and there he was, and so there's the services at the bottom.
I mean, there's
It's like, how fucking complicated. How can this guy be the New York Times or the Washington Post? Like, what makes this guy a special obit guy? I feel like I could do this tonight. This could be done by AI. No question about it.
You never want your family to be contacted by a journal, but you never want your family contacted by one of these guys. It's like,
the obit guy.
yeah, can you tell me about him? He croaked.
Yeah. No. The second to worst thing, but being called by Brody Mullins is the Washington Post obit guy, right?
But who
because then you know it's
Like, I
actually
haven't gotten word yet. What?
You're like, what?
But who else is going to attack Republicans after they die and then write austere religious scholars?
Oh,
Yeah.
Who else is going to do that?
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Yeah. Never
You're
forget
right.
these people are
Yeah.
animals.
The only person who likes getting a call from the obit writer is ISIS.
Exactly right.
Because they know they're going to get a fair shake.
We're going to get a fair shake on this. Well, what does Hamas have to say about it? In testimonials, Osama bin Laden said yesterday.
Well, I mean,
Hero martyred today.
honestly, they probably had like job cuts in ISIS where they're like, we don't need a press release guy. Apparently, someone at the Washington Post will do it for us.
Yeah.
Dude, it's very funny, but apparently even the obit page is like gonzo at some level. Like they've lost the sports person. They did lose Dan Balls. I will say, like, look, I know not everybody is a
lot of history
long-time consumer of political press, but when I got started, it wasn't this bad. It just wasn't. You disagreed with these people, and they
wasn't.
were always a little bit to the left. But they would sit down and they would let you make an argument, and occasionally you won the argument, and occasionally they would give you your benefit of the doubt. And Dan Balls was one of those guys. He's out. Of course, he's graduated on because he's retiring. There are a handful of others, I guess, that are left. But when you're getting to the point where you can't even fill well, what's going to become of this thing? I feel like we could walk
Hopefully
over
nothing.
to Bezos and
Honestly,
flip a nickel in his bucket and be like, hey, we'll take it.
The best thing to do with these people, it doesn't matter whether they're obit writers over at WAPO or what, is have them delivering packages. Like, that's the only use they can provide Jeff Bezos.
Delivering
Yeah.
packages.
You know, like, send them to the warehouse, provide some utility to society, you know?
Yeah, but they only have the reach in their database equivalent to, like, the first hour of our podcast release.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
What?
Like,
I bet they'd also be terrible at the job. Like, these journos at WAPO have never worked an honest day in their life. Imagine them trying to work in a warehouse. You know? They can't do anything.
Well,
Fire all of them and jail them, honestly. If we're being honest. That's the best use for them.
I think we've danced on their graves long enough, and I think we need to get into prediction business here.
Well, this is something that you've conjured up that we've toyed around with for a number of weeks.
Yes, a new segment.
And it is a new segment, and I love it. What do we have, Michael?
Well, we're calling it the hot seat.
The hot seat.
Yeah.
The hot seat. So now we've got all of the problems that you've seen play out.
Yeah. Who is next? Who is going to get fired next in liberal media? Who is on the hot seat?
Ooh.
Let's put up the graphic.
Oh! Seth
Whoa.
Meyers.
Whoa. Seth Meyers. Now, this is I didn't know about this before you put it up, but I do think that this is an excellent prediction. Who came up with this?
Well, I think John Ashbrook did. You know, he's friends with all these journos.
There are a lot of rumors going around. You know, there's a lot of chatter that happens behind the scenes before anything makes it to print. And the Seth Meyers prediction actually has made it to print. I know Michael has been following the story very closely.
Yeah, so in USA Today, Seth Meyers gave an interview and said he reveals concern about his show being canceled. Quote, I would worry about myself. You know, he talks about how there might not be a place for this sort of medium anymore, this late night comedy show, and that he might fall victim the same way Colbert did.
Oh, he could?
Follow
Do you
me.
think it's like taking a third-rate Democratic spokesperson on late-night television that might lead an audience to conclude that perhaps this is an activist
He,
show?
he
and not
hears
a
the
comedy
footsteps.
show?
He hears the footsteps.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I can't even imagine how guys like this get talked into it. And like Colbert, look, he made his own bed. He made a ton of money. He did whatever he chose. And I think that's, to a certain extent, Seth Meyers too, but he was a part of the Saturday Night Live cast. He obviously understood comedy and mediums and like worked with Jimmy Fallon, who I think is not doing it that way by any stretch of the imagination. But this is somebody who chose, and I found it amazing in the 2020 election, the 22 in the 2024 election, how they would have not just like substandard guests, but like if you would have told me when I started in politics that I could get like just a rank and file Republican candidate on broadcast late night
would
television, I would have been like, fuck you. I mean, we worked for the fucking majority leader of the Senate. There was no chance that you could get him on primetime broadcast, no matter what you did.
Right.
But these guys made a decision at some point to forgo comedy.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the same thing that happened to Howard Stern. Like, I would bet you that a guy like this gets into this role and he's like, this is perfect for me. This is easy street. I get to do entertainment. There's a fun band. We're going to have interesting guests, live audience. It's going to be just like my whole career. I get to sit back and just ask questions. And then it creeps in, the politics, right? And
Dude,
then
but
it's the
somebody
pressure.
has to have that. It can't just be the host.
This used to be quite literally
yeah.
the easiest job in all of showbiz, especially coming from like SNL. Folks, many of our listeners are too young to remember. Before 2016, before Donald Trump won, the entertainment industry was focused on entertainment, entertaining the audience. SNL used to be funny. I promise you, it really did. These late night shows used to be, I want to get a laugh, and then I want to go to sleep, and I wake up and I go to work. So Seth Meyers came from SNL. It used to be, okay, you have a team of writers back there who are going to write a bunch of jokes and one-liners that you open your show with. Then you've got some Hollywood star who's got a movie coming in theaters this weekend, and you're going to ask him some, like, fluff, nonsense questions, and then everyone goes to sleep. That's it. That's how
but
it
in
worked.
the era of Donald Trump, the HR departments everywhere took over, and now suddenly every celebrity, every host of a late night show, well, now you've got a responsibility.
Yep.
You've got a responsibility of your platform.
Yep.
Who are you choosing to platform?
Bingo.
Right? Like, that's what it becomes, and these people start to get the big head, and it's like what Carson said
People
is like
you
being
have
late night
never-
was about entertaining people before they go to sleep,
Yeah,
not a sermon.
And Stephen Colbert gets canceled, does his going out of business sale of a show, and he's like, who am I going to platform? Alyssa Slotkin, a freshman Democrat from Michigan who nobody's ever heard of.
And then
She
the next day,
needs to be on the show tonight.
The funniest is then the following day, she sends out a tweet being like, I want to apologize for missing a dozen votes in the Senate last night. I was unable to be there.
Here's how I would stand with Hamas. That was the best part.
All her replies were like, you idiot. We know you were on a late night show instead of doing your job in the Senate.
That was one of the best statements I've ever seen. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I missed all the vote. No context. She was on Colbert, which a freshman senator who's been there for a cup of coffee on the show that, basically it was a Letterman construct with CBS, like this valued commodity. This person who has done literally nothing in her congressional career is the guest, but she doesn't explain that. She says, I've thought a lot about the issues that I was voting on yesterday, and I've struggled with it greatly. But ultimately, I'm going to come down on the side of Hamas.
Like, this is some
like
LeBron
literally what you
decision.
did.
She's putting up a jersey. Hamas, that's it.
Dude, it was so good. But it is. It's so thank you for the hot seat.
Yeah. I
Thank
think we
you
should
for the
keep that
hot seat.
going.
That's a good one. That
I
is
think,
good.
dude, I'll be shocked if he's not the next to go. I think that's a very, very good call. Our question of the day is to you. When you like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program and you put your comments in there and put them in there, let's get creative on this stuff. I've noticed a lot of people, we're talking about a lot of different things. We read everything, so we get involved with all the different things. But the question of the day is kind of important because you show up in the show when you do that. And if you make it creative, we're going to make a big deal out of it. So respond to this. Who's the next to get fired? Who's the next liberal media personality that is going to get fired as a result of their just complete neglect for half of this country?
I mean, you
if not
could
more.
just look through the ratings of MSNBC and you could pick one.
You could pick one, but make a case. Do it. Make it funny. Don't suck. I'm serious. Don't suck. I mean this for real. I've looked through some of the comments. Some of them suck. Like, don't suck. Like, be funny. They put some thought into it because I read every single one of all of us do.
Yeah.
You know?
Bring A game.
Like, I don't want to know what you had for breakfast this morning. Like, tell us what the answer is to the who gets fired, and let's get a creative story. Go and put some thought into it. Let's make it happen. All right. So anyway, our last question of the day was, where should Dems hold their next fundraiser, and what should their pitch be? You recall on Tuesday we talked a lot about what's this cat, New Mexico,
Yeah, Martin Heinrich.
Yeah, we broke the news on this.
Yeah, Martin Heinrich, a senator from New Mexico who's a Democrat, is holding a fundraiser in Mexico in the resort town of Playa del Carmen, where he will celebrate with his biggest donors his re-election from last November.
Incredible.
It's like Smug said in that episode. I loved it when he was like, "Don't hate the playa, hate the game."
It was so good. So we were like, how do you go about it? And the billionaire on the lib side is just so gullible. They'll go for anything. So we open it up to you. I'm happy to report many of you answered the bell. To do that, we start with the voice.
First comment comes from Benny Armstrong, and Benny writes, Swalwell and Kinzinger will host a group of men at a dude ranch in Montana or Wyoming to discover their manliness.
Great comment.
I didn't know Brokeback Mountain was in Wyoming.
So good. I love it. What else we got, Dunks?
This is from Biggest. Biggest writes, they should hold it after December in the third world country of New York City.
Oh, nice. So good.
Catered by the government-run grocery stores. Discuss how to communicate the positives of no police. Winning strategy for midterms. How could they not donate? By the way, Kim Jong-un didn't like the fitness test either, and he turned out okay.
Oh, man.
What a great comment. Biggest. Bringing the heat.
Yeah.
All right, Smug, what else do we have?
Comment 3 is from Buyer Outdoor, and Buyer writes, this can't be just a one-pitch meeting destination. It has to be like a bar hop tour or a vineyard hop, as the elites might say. There'll be a stop in Ohio for a train safety pitch. Oh, man. California for a fire safety pitch, man. Then go international to Gaza for a humanitarian aid pitch. And finishing in China for a freedom of speech pitch. That is
And
perfect.
around the world.
Perfect.
Wow.
And around the world buyer. I love it. That's really good stuff. So keep it coming. Make it funny. Make it good. Make it thoughtful. Either way, we're going to read them all, and I just want to be entertained, to be honest with you. This is a selfish pitch, but it's a pitch that I mean. Anyway, so something happened here this week in the District of Columbia that is something that people in D.C. have been dealing with for quite some time. There's a lot of violence here. The irony of this is not lost on me in that Big Balls... Remember all the shit this guy got?
Yeah, this is the Doge guy.
Yeah. So Big Balls was the sort of, I guess, nickname for a guy who worked at Doge, who was doing some of the analytics work. Incredibly valuable human being for a variety of reasons, now more than we thought before, was attacked. And he was attacked because he was trying to save a young woman from... I don't know exactly what was happening.
Attack,
I think it was a carjack. I mean, look, all of the details are a little bit fuzzy, but there was a group of young individuals who are trying to accost, in one way or another, a young woman. This guy, Big Balls, intervened.
Living up to his name.
Yes, Big Balls. He was savagely attacked.
Jeez.
And it made a lot of news. 2 teens were ultimately arrested following the attempt. It was a carjack. You're right, Smug. It was a carjacking attempt. I don't know if he knew that or not, but he was trying to save this young woman from being accosted by people. This is ultimately the picture of what he looks like if you're on the YouTubes. He got beaten down pretty bad.
There are
Suffered a
apparently
concussion.
8 people who attacked him. So, like, from the story, the police report said that him and this lady were walking to the car when they got attacked by 8 of these teenagers. And he throws her in the car, closes the door, has her lock it, while he tries to fend off 8 of these people.
And he gets beaten down.
Yep.
Like crazy. He's hurt severely, concussed and everything. You saw Elon weigh in on this. Obviously, he was part of the operation that hired him. At 3 a.m., apparently, this is all happening in Logan Circle in D.C., but it conjures up the same old problem that you have in the nation's capital city that Donald Trump has been pretty vocal about, which is this is the capital of the United States of America. It's not enough to run it like a third world country. Even New York City, I would argue, maybe if I lived there, that it shouldn't, like, this is, you're degenerating the value of what the outside world sees when you elect somebody like Mamdani or whatever. But in D.C., you have a real impetus behind making sure that the outside world, when they visit here, understands that it's the capital of the free world. And there's been this large debate, years in the making. The Constitution talked about D.C. as a federally controlled and operated by the Congress territory. There was only a federal territory. It wasn't operated by a mayor and city council as it is now. And so Musk offers up federal control right away. I've advocated for this literally for as long as I've lived here.
It's so DC is a horrible and disgusting place that Democrats who run the show and try to stop law and order have turned into this disgusting place. Rapes and sexual assaults are common on the subway system here. Shootings are common. Carjackings are common, and it can happen anywhere. I've told you guys the story. A friend told me that their buddy is coming home with his wife after she's just delivered the baby, right? They're going home from the hospital. They get carjacked, and his friend says, "Please, let me just grab my kid from the back so you're not hit with a kidnapping." So they don't take the kid. They take the car. They get a call from the police. Oh, the car was found a day later because it was used in a drive-by. It's covered in bullets. This DC is like a no man's land of crime and shooting and carjackings, and the local politicians are fine with it. They're indifferent. When you visit this place,
to decriminalize
it's disgusting.
crime
There's
here.
drugs. There's homeless people everywhere. It makes America look like a mess, like a fallen country.
And it's especially a mess during the summer when you've got these like bands of teenagers who don't have
Yep.
anything better to do and they're not in school and they're out in these gangs doing mischief.
Do you
We're
guys
talking
remember
rolling like 50, 60, 100 deep,
Yeah.
just like mobs that march around, just like
In the
robbing and beating people and running up into like a drugstore or a convenience store,
Yeah.
stealing everything, going out because they know, we have no consequences.
Right, no one's going to arrest me. And
Yeah.
I remember the 4th of July, there were these kids on motorbikes.
This is it.
With
ATVs.
Right, ATVs, and they've got Roman candles and they're shooting them, not in the air. They're shooting them on the patios into bars at people. and
Down
then
the streets of DC.
Right, then driving off. And they're
Without
never going to get caught.
consequences.
and no
Because here's the thing: is
consequences.
if a police officer stops them or something, they all get camera photos like this is racism in action, and then all the local politicians try to get the cop fired. There's no law in DC.
And
It's
then
a
those
horrible,
same
disgusting place.
politicians will tell you, well, actually, crime's down in this,
Yep.
this year. And the reality is they just don't enforce the law. They don't put anyone in jail.
Yep.
And so, none of their statistics actually
None of
mean
them matter.
anything. And it goes back to, like, remember when Giuliani was tough on crime in New York City? What did he say? It was like broken window theory. It's like once you tell
Yep.
everybody that the broken window is okay, it's a permission structure. That this is a lawless place and I can get away with anything. And that's what DC has become.
And I will tell you, like, given everything that you said, what a hero this kid is.
Right.
That he
Yeah.
sized up the situation.
Do you think
He's
we're
got
going to get a
girl.
segment on MSNBC about how
Dude.
he's a hero after 2 months of denigrating him for a nickname that somebody came up with?
Yeah.
him?
I
No
don't think
chance.
so.
No chance.
Do you think that's going to happen?
No chance because they hate people who protect the weak. This guy protected that girl from suffering the same fate that he knew. He sees 8 guys rolling up and he's like, I better get her in the car to keep her safe. And like, let's roll.
I'm surprised they
You know
aren't
what I
calling him
mean?
a
Like,
white supremacist. They're like, oh my God, this white supremacist. These brave children,
Oh,
these
it'll come.
minorities are
Bro,
victims.
this-
No, it'll come.
this
that,
guy-
that will eventually come to the
This-
DC City Council. What you just discussed, what you just said, that will actually
Yep.
be. It just won't be national headlines.
Right.
Like that. What you just said is like, oh, he's a white.
and those kids are
supremacy-
going to sue the city, and the city's going to
And
cut him a check.
he knows what the media is going to write about him because he's been fighting. He's been fighting to protect tax dollars, and he has gotten those same headlines over and over and over. He knows what the media is going to write about him. He knows what 8 guys up against 1 is going to do, and yet he put that girl in the car and protected her anyway. This guy is a hero, and this is exactly what young dudes. This is bravery.
This is what young dudes
This is
do.
courage. This is what young dudes. Yeah, this is exactly this is something to aspire to.
It
honestly.
totally is, but I want to make it very clear. I know there's a lot of controversy about this. I know it breaks a lot of China. Federalize DC.
Yep, please.
Yeah.
Federalize
Send
DC.
in the troops.
It is a human suck off of every single taxpayer in DC. The fact that there is a city council and a mayor that make decisions where the resources go and that they don't have a safe city to be in. I came here when it was bad. It got so much better. And there was a brief period of time before COVID where you could see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Where it was actually a vibrant city, the likes of which you want a capital city of the United States to be. And then we couldn't go to our office because there was burning fucking cars out front. And then there was more attention paid to how many times you painted Black Lives Matter Avenue than there was to roving street gangs of ATVs. And now we've gotten to a point where they took the Black Lives Matter Avenue off because they didn't want to piss off Trump. But I'm telling you, Trump is just threatening. Right now he's saying if they don't clean up their act, I'm saying they're not going to clean up their act.
They're not doing it immediately.
And if they're not cleaning up their act now, they're never going to do it. They're just biding their time to the next progressive administration where this thing goes back to a third world country. And if you care at all about showing your kids the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, the Declaration of Independence, showing American history and teaching, because God knows your public schools are struggling with that right now. If you're thinking about that, like, you should advocate for the same thing too. On the other side, just pure crass political, every time you give them a little bit of a window in not federalizing D.C., you see what you had in 2021 where the House of Representatives tried to make D.C. a state. And the only thing that they care about, it's an ungoverned, it's basically the same governance that you would have in, like, Uganda.
Yeah.
It's completely ungovernable. And from the standpoint of the city council.
It's like that
and
city
mayor.
council guy just got elected, the one who got his job back after he got charged and convicted of corruption.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it's third world country fake government.
Here's the thing, by the way, if you're sitting there thinking, oh man, it's a big ask for Trump to federalize the city, you have to remember that the tax dollars that you pay
They're going there anyway.
go out to D.C. in the form of an appropriations bill that takes your money every single April 15th and gives it to the government of Washington, D.C.
A bunch of
You're
people.
paying for this city. It should belong to you.
Exactly. That's exactly.
You're
well-
already paying
well
for a
said.
military. They should send in the troops.
Well
we should
said.
have troops everywhere. We should have tanks in the streets. Calm
President
this
Trump, if
horrible
you're
town.
listening. President Trump, if you're listening.
Send in the troops.
Let's do it. Let's get this thing done. All right. On the other side of things, Democrats, well, they're not so much interested in the safety of anybody. They're trying to skirt around rules.
Yep.
We talked about this a little bit last cycle with Tammy Baldwin. These progressive relationships.
Yeah, this was Ashbrook's hobby horse. I
the
recall.
progressive relationship where you don't need to get married so much that you do just sort of like hang out with the same person for 15 years. And if you do that, then, well, there's multiple benefits to it. For one, you can never be committed, which is something that a progressive is intimately familiar with. And second of all, you can also get around congressional ethics rules. And this is something that Tammy Baldwin, who was just reelected, ungodly, I can't believe Wisconsin did that, has done with her, is it even a domestic partner? What do we call this lady?
I'm not exactly sure what their current status is, but the relationship is structured such that Tammy Baldwin's significant other is not required to disclose all of her financial holdings, even those that stand to benefit from her position as a highly ranking member of certain committees.
Okay, so basically her lesbian lover runs a bunch of hedge funds or something like
I
that.
think she's a wealth advisor, Goldman, or something like that.
Or a wealth advisor or something like that. But she sits on top of investment decisions, one way or another, that have to do with like healthcare and things that her other significant other,
She's like, I offer investment advice on the committees my lesbian
Yeah, and
lovers
like-
and so on in the Senate.
and like the laws of the United States passed in the wake of 2008 and all of the scandal that we saw with people like insider trading and everything else were basically to make sure that you couldn't do that, but by virtue of these new progressive sort of things that we do in America, we can never make it official, and we can get around all of that.
Right.
So Tammy Baldwin skates by, gets reelected to the United States Senate from the great state of Wisconsin because her significant lover and all of the income and all of the largesse that comes in to pay for her decision making in the Senate is fine.
Right.
Well, it turns out like AOC is kind of doing something.
Right. Democrats are making a mockery of transparency. They're making a mockery of what you expect your government to do. They joke about it behind the scenes. They call it the poop hole loophole among Democrats.
What?
That's what they call it.
What?
That's what they call it.
That's insane. What?
Wait.
This is what Democrats call it.
Hold on. Wait. I don't.
It's the wildest shit I've ever heard. Literally.
I just
That's
don't-
what they say.
I'm not
behind the scenes.
Who says this?
Every Democrat.
I just.
That just happened.
I don't know how to respond.
That's what they call it, and they get away with it.
I can say with 100% assurance that's the first time that I've heard that.
Because they keep it secret.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. This.
Ashbrook, how about a heads up before you derail the whole episode?
I'm sorry, I'm breaking news. This is what they call it, okay? They're taking advantage of you.
I've literally never heard this.
Well, I'm never going to forget it now.
I'm not sure I can go on.
Well, can we get to the rest of the story,
I'm
Ashbrook?
not sure I can. Wait, hold on. Okay, so let me just try. Let me attempt.
Yeah, let's go through the details and just think about what they call this as you hear the details that Josh is about to read.
Okay, so AOC, so you remember this whole controversy about her going to the Met Gala for free?
Oh, yeah.
Remember
Where
that-
she wore that white dress that said tax the rich on it.
Yeah, and she wore the dress
But
tax.
but doesn't it cost like thousands of dollars
Yeah,
to
the
attend,
dress
right?
and
The ticket's $35,000.
Jeez.
Right. So, and like she claims to be this like poor person who can't do all these things, and like we all know that that's none of that is true, but she has PJs and everything.
And also, like, her lover, the weird redhead, he got a ticket too for $35,000. They're like, no, that's legal. That's acceptable. That's part of the problem right here.
Well, so what's happened is because the gift was to him, because the tickets were a gift to him, and well, and they're not embonded
Because they are not married.
in a traditional marriage.
The poop hole loophole.
Now you see why they call it that.
I don't understand. It's a heterosexual couple. Wait.
You don't know.
This doesn't make...
He's a lib dude.
You don't know.
He's covering for them.
You don't have any idea.
Found the lib.
How dare you?
How dare me? This is off the rails.
You don't have any idea. Nobody has suggested pronouns.
It's a
in any of
classic PL.
They get away with it.
There are drawbacks, and this is. I can't. I'm not sure I can finish the segment. There are drawbacks to being a congressional spouse, such as having to disclose one's sources of income and financial holdings. But her significant other is not, because of this new sort of arrangement, shall we say.
That's exactly right.
And that's what we call...
The poop hole loophole. This is what Democrats do to you.
Get away with it.
I think it's time to play a game because I can't do another news story. I literally can't read anything else. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna try to turn my brain off.
I think that's right.
It's
That's the right
Thursday,
call.
and that means only one thing. King of the Hill.
Yeah.
I am the bailiff today. Ashbrook is the judge. Our champion, Comfortably Smug, has Jennifer Brainworms Rubin.
That's right.
And Holmes, who are you bringing to the table?
I'm gonna go with George Conway today.
Oh.
I'm actually surprised by that.
Okay.
Because I saw some hot fire from Joe Walsh recently. And, now that we do this show as frequently as we
I know.
do, when I'm like late at night and I'm scrolling and I see something like that,
Yeah.
I chuckle to myself and I'm like, I hope Holmes sees this.
Oh, I know. And we can't share them with one of.
Right.
I will say that I did see that, But I also, what I like about this game is also bringing in, like there was a year period of time where we played the same people over and over
being
again.
unpredictable is good.
I like
bring in
spreading-
Filipowski, you know.
spreading the wealth a little bit.
Sometimes you
People
have to
can't
do
forget
that.
about George.
Nope.
Fighting
No.
George.
That's right.
Fighting George. Well, let's go ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. It's time for King of the Hill. In the red corner, fighting from the op-ed pages of the New York Times, Skinny George Conway. And now, in the blue corner, fighting from her own Blue Sky account, and current champion of the world, our queen, Jennifer Bahrain Worms Rubin.
Well done. Well done. Champion. You have the
Champion goes
obligation.
first.
I'm going to go with Exhibit 1, please. Jennifer Rubin writes, decent person thinks Trump is a fascist bully willing to kill the planet. Decent person decides, well, I can strike a blow for democracy by not taking a vacation in U.S., not going to U.S. for World Cup, and not going to Olympics. Instead, I will go to nice Canada. Her take is, only if you're decent, you agree to boycott America.
Feel like she's piggybacking on last week's victory on that one. She knew what won. Mm-hmm. She knew what won.
Possible.
I like strike a blow for democracy.
You strike a blow.
It's a war for democracy in her mind palace. It's just as diseased as ever.
Not to be confused for the poopo lupo.
There you go.
Striking a blow. Okay, George Conway.
Mm-hmm.
So he, in Exhibit 12, please, has retweeted something that is very predictable for a George Conway type figure in something from the Bulwark. This is a mind trap that they all live in. And it's summarizing what it is that is in the Bulwark. It's talking about how the Democratic Party is at an all-time low ebb in terms of its approval rating. A lot of people hate Republicans because a lot of those very same people hate Democrats because Democrats have been so ineffective at fighting evil.
I think a point of order there, counsel. I think you misread the first full sentence. Can you read that first sentence
A
again?
lot of people hate the Republicans because they are evil.
There we
a
go.
lot of those very same people hate Democrats because the Democrats have been so ineffective in fighting evil. So, look,
Bro, he's a Republican, and he's just called all Republicans evil.
but not only that, but the full packaging, the full Amazon packaging of the Democratic Party as if it's not doing anything wrong other than not attacking more Republicans is completely hilarious to me from a Republican perspective.
It is, and I will tell you, I think Skinny George is out of line with his attack on Republicans, and it's especially awkward from a guy who used to be a Republican or claims to be a Republican. However, it does not rise to the level of Jen Rubin's attack on all of America and the Olympics and the World Cup and saying she's going to move to Canada. She's not going to move to Canada. So round one, Jen Rubin.
Smart play.
Okay.
Smart
All
play.
right.
Smug knows his judge.
He does.
He's a soft spot for the Olympics.
He certainly does. I thought maybe it wore thin, but we're back again. Anyway, Exhibit 7 is a picture, of course, that he's tweeting out from C-SPAN of the President of the United States on the roof of the White House. George Conway's take is, Mr. President, many of your detractors say you can't fly.
Oh.
What is your response to that?
Oh, my God. Okay.
Honestly, as a fan of dark humor, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think, it does.
It's a weird thing for a former Republican to say, but it is kind of funny.
I'm going to go for a 2-round knockout. Can I get Exhibit 3, please? Jen Rubin tweeting out a photo of Mamdani says, Dem politicians who won't back him for fear of offending Jewish voters are confused and wrong. The polls need to catch up.
Oh.
This was the conservative writer for the Washington Post. Guys, you got to back Mamdani. That's the conservative case for Mamdani.
Jennifer Rubin is a Jewish American, correct?
Yeah. And for many years, at the risk of undermining my case, she was a pro-Israel.
Pro-Israel.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I thought for sure this round was about to go to George Conway for encouraging the President of the United States to commit suicide. However, a former Republican now supporting the Ugandan communist running for mayor of New York. Not even every Democrat supports this guy.
That's the thing.
I mean, and now she's all in on Mamdani.
That's why she's the queen.
It's a 2-round knockout. Good try, Conway. I'm sure he's going to bring more coming up. But
fairly decided, Judge.
I get it. I get it. It was fairly decided. I concede. She is the queen for a reason. She is the queen for the reason. All right. So you want some animal news?
Yes.
Always.
So there's a very interesting thing happening at USDA. They have decided, according to Variety.com, that Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver fighting in Marriage Story. It's a movie. Is being used by the USDA to scare off wolves and save cattle. They need to know humans are bad, is the quote, right? So
ridiculous.
I don't know if we probably don't have any clips, but is there audio of this thing? We probably don't have any audio. Anyway, there's audio of Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. I think you've probably seen it.
You've seen this clip of them fighting, yeah.
It's like just a
and he's punching the wall and
just a toxic relationship. Great acting, I might add, in that they're screaming back and forth just like a couple of animals. And what the USDA has decided that by putting this in audio on drones over top of like forest areas, like wolves themselves are like, oh fuck, I get it out of here.
Well, so this is
I don't want to hear this anymore.
I think this is really important because you see sometimes in suburbs or like near city areas, the animals becoming too comfortable around human beings. You'll see this on golf courses with deer.
They don't think they're going to hurt. You're going to hurt them.
You see it in national parks with these bears who get fed by people.
Yeah.
And the animal kingdom needs to know we are to be feared.
Yeah. Well, that's what they've done here, and they've found a screeching woman.
Well, that's the thing is like
and an unhinged man.
Scientists have discovered nothing is more repellent than a shrill woman nagging. Like, oh my God! Nothing in the animal kingdom can withstand the power of like, get me out of here.
The most apex predator is like, you know what? I'm gonna need a minute.
Like, wolves can adjust to any environment except for getting nagged.
So, but apparently, I'm not kidding you, dude. They call it wolf hazing.
Yeah.
It works. They also play like Thunderstruck.
See, but they discover the wolves like to just chill.
Yeah.
Like, things that make wolves say hell yeah. It's like
they get revved up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but now they've done this thing where they've got a woman yelling at a dude. And,
They're like, nope, I'm out.
and they're like, the wolves are like, that doesn't seem worth
Kill
it.
the vibe.
That doesn't kill the vibe. I was down for some killing tonight, but not now. That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Great story. You've become accustomed to the lightning round of variety that we've done here on the Ruthless Variety program, but today it's hard news. For that, we turn to John Ashbrook.
Around the globe tonight from Slovakia, a man wearing nothing but a baklava and plastic clogs and carrying a sex toy on a stick has been startling tourists while wandering around a historic castle. He reportedly apologized to 2 of the female hikers who spotted him, and then the female hikers asked him for a picture. This is the 3rd encounter that visitors have had with a naked man in the same stretch of woods since 2020. It isn't known if the same individual was involved in all 3 incidents, but it comes as cops in the UK are investigating a separate incident involving a naked masked man there. Josh.
Indianapolis, Indiana, the dildo crisis continues. Green dildos have been thrown on not 1, not 2, but 3 consecutive nights in the WNBA. It's a primary color, but not one that is adorned typically on sexual connotation. Certainly not one that accompanies a WNBA game. Authorities say arrests have been made while fans have taken social media to storm, suggesting that they are hiding green dildos everywhere they can speak of. Fellas?
I mean, unbelievable. I love how both of the stories contain dildos. a real dildo duel on the variety program.
Well, I feel it's a dildo day. You know? I mean, I think we probably did 500 episodes where the word dildo was never mentioned. And, like, now we have 2 stories that, so, I mean, why not enjoy it?
What my first thought when I saw the picture of the masked man and random hikers, coming up to him
Can
is
we get that photo back?
Can
up?
we put that photo back up of the?
My God.
It's like a naked Zodiac killer.
Can I get a little bit more about, like, so I appreciate the read in the news brief because it did give me the who, what, when, where, and why, unlike most news. But what it's not telling me is what's up with the, like, is there a motive?
Well, the story, which comes from the venerable New York Post, they're so good at news. They do not have a quote from this guy on anything other than to say that. Let me just grab this. This is the women talking about what they heard from the guy, and they said that he was apologetic. They said he thought he was going to be alone.
He was misunderstood.
That's the impression you get.
Because lock this guy up, dude. No, this is some fucking pervert. Oh, I thought I'd be alone. And you're wearing a baklava or what do you baklava? No, baklava's the delicious treat.
Isn't this just a terrorist mask?
Well, it's a balaclava.
I mean, he's
for
he's
skiing.
naked.
It's for winter, but like this guy.
Doesn't, hold on, put this up. Put this up one more time. That's not for skiing.
That's right.
That is for terrorist activity.
This guy looks like he's about to rob a jewelry store or join ISIS.
According to the eyewitnesses,
also
they say
they took a picture with him.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Because I've got to let him do his thing.
That's what he was saying himself walking through the woods.
They say that the guy didn't want to scare us.
Okay.
So he asked for directions because he thought that since it was Monday, he wouldn't meet anyone. This is what the women said.
Well, as everybody knows, parks are often poorly attended.
As I recall...
keep it up. Hold on. Keep it up. Did you guys notice how low the blur goes?
Although, past the knees.
Now, maybe there is a conservative blur here. Or maybe this man is to be feared.
You're saying he's hiking nude because he's very proud of what he's endowed with.
I'm just telling you, that guy could fly out of there if he started doing the helicopter. If the blur is to be believed.
And this is why you watch it on YouTube.
No, I'm serious. I'm not being hyperbolic. Look where it is. It's mid-knee. It's mid-knee, guys. Mm-hmm. Am I making that up? Look at it.
No, you're not. And there was no the witnesses, according to the article, provided no description of the sort.
Well, they were horrified. Undoubtedly.
They've had 3 encounters with this naked man in the same stretch of woods since 2020.
Look,
I mean, this man is a menace.
No, authorities say they're not clear if it's the same guy.
They got multiple guys naked with ski masks on.
I can solve 2 problems with
Slovakia.
one story. We just did the Scarlett Johansson thing. Get that guy out doing the helicopter with the wolves. They're not going to come anywhere close to those sheep.
They're not.
This guy's going to dominate the woods.
They physically couldn't.
This guy dominates the woods. Does he not, Smug?
I mean, get that image back up. That's past the knees, bro.
No, for real. I mean, his stick. Look at the size of that stick. It's taking up 3/4 of the stick.
Yeah.
That thing is 5 feet long. I mean, geez.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure he's a nice guy, right? Ted Bundy was a nice guy who just needed help with his sofa in the back of his van.
I make no defense for the man in the baklava.
I think this, everyone's going to be shocked.
The man with the baklava.
Everyone's going to be shocked when they find a dead hiker in 6 months. Oh, I wonder who did it. Maybe Helicopter Man.
Yeah, well, they won't be able to catch him because
No, he's gone.
He's got like a superhero-like ability to jump off a cliff and.
There were no footprints found.
He was declaring a landing in Morocco with air traffic control. On the other thing, the dildo thing, so like to pick up, so this became a thing and we talked about on Tuesday, that people were chucking dildos, and then Clay Travis was like, there's a betting app where you can
We
bet.
covered it. It was funny.
Yeah, and it was very funny. Another green. And we noted also that green wasn't an option because people are like, no, green seems to be a trend. And one of the WNBA players, I forget her name,
Sophie Cunningham, I think.
Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, she was like, please don't do that. And she was the one that got hit by the green dildo.
Yeah.
So it seems like now this is not going to stop anytime soon. That betting app's going to get hot.
Mm-hmm.
Bet now, I think it was.
What if this is a marketing scheme? You remember the guy, to talk about Howard Stern and some of the radio guys we started the show with? Remember the guy who would scream "Baba Booey" before people, big national events?
Yes.
That was a part of a big promotion. A lot of people were in on it. What if
so
this
that's
thing...
what this is, that was my guess. So here's the thing is, word on the street is that like their ticket sales are in the trash this year. Like they can't fill these stadiums. They never could, but like it's even worse than usual now. I guess because Caitlin Clark, woke Caitlin, is like injured because she keeps getting her ass kicked by all her fellow players.
I love how you hate
her.
her.
She's
Yeah.
the
It's
worst.
just so-
She's a horrible person. Horrible
I can't
person.
believe-
she deserves all the horrible things that happened to her. But anyways,
I just disagree.
So
with
like
you.
I bet that they're making this a thing so that like they can sell tickets of people who want to go in there and they want to throw the dildo on the court and they want to cash in a bet.
So I have a couple of thoughts on this. I think number one, a team needs to like lean into this and do like free dildo night. And like you pay
They'll
for a
all
ticket.
end up on the
They will all,
court.
which is awesome.
And imagine that viral moment.
Oh, it's like throwing the rats out
Right.
onto the hockey rink.
Right. So
Or it was the Philly fans who throw batteries at Santa.
Right.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
a hat trick, you throw your hat. A three-pointer, you throw your dildo.
How about a slam dunk? That way you know it'll never hit the court.
Oh, that's so mean, Smug.
Jeez. How about a contested turnaround? Can't get that either. Anyway, Sophie Cunningham did talk about stop doing this or whatever. And the best response that I read was red one bangarang.
Okay.
And I don't know this person from I'm not attesting to how, but this is a funny post. The response was, she said, stop throwing dildos in the court. You're going to hurt one of us. His response was, stop playing basketball on the dildo range.
Oh my God.
Holy cow.
It just, I mean, on a real note, it seems kind of mean now.
No, it doesn't.
I don't
Nope.
want them to do it
Nope.
anymore.
Nope.
Wait,
Get out of there.
you're anti-dildo?
Well, it's like it was a funny thing. I think the third time it's not quite as funny.
It's
and also,
funnier.
They're like, they're not making any money doing this. Like, it's already demeaning enough.
Do we have the...
No. As long as they want to be like, oh, pay us what we're owed. This is what you're owed.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh!
Wow, that's
Yeah.
mean.
That's
You want to be a
hardcore.
subsidized league? You want everyone to pay for you to play around and then be like, yeah, just because people don't buy tickets or our jerseys or anything, we deserve to be paid more? You're getting what you paid for.
You notice how the sports networks are like, they don't know how to deal with this.
No.
It's all online. It's all social.
But if there was a sea of dildos, it would be a viral moment. That's all I'm saying. One team should lean into it. I bet they would sell out.
I didn't even know, by the way, that like dildos were a thing any longer. You know what I mean? Like, surely we've innovated beyond just the...
Don't ask Ashbrook. He's gonna come up with another banger.
Jesus, no, I don't want to do that. We're gonna get back into...
Yeah.
Well, I don't even... What was it?
This is an elaborate scheme the Democrats have concocted to protect themselves from public disclosure of their financial gain. They call it the poophole loophole.
Well, that's what we have here on the Ruthless Variety program. I appreciate you joining in. For all of you who feared we might lose our edge, congratulations, we have not. Like and subscribe to the Ruthless Variety program. When you answer our question this week, I think is going to give you a lot of opportunities. Who's the next lib? Who's the next media lib that is going to be fired? There's a lot of opportunity out there. You heard our suggestion on Duncan's hot seat. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of others out there. Be funny. Give us your take. Like, let's go with the motive of the show. Like, bring your heat. Bring your heat. And when you do all that, we'll read them all, and we'll get them back to you on Friday for the next episode. So, I think we did it.
Absolute banger of an episode. Gentlemen, thank you again to all our listeners. Remember, if you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube, it's more fun in video. So, until next time, minions, keep the faith, hold the line, and own the libs. We'll see you on Friday. Stay ruthless.